Hello.
Hey everybody, welcome to Wolf Den Live, episode 22.
Wait, we're at going.
Yeah, oh.
Oh, now we're not.
Okay.
If we were, I don't even know.
Sorry about that.
But hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Fanatic. Hello, Convoy. Hello, Super Ty. Hello, Gavin. I can't scroll up. Gavin, I think, said he couldn't be here. But
Gavin couldn't
you know
be
what?
here because he's watching X-Men Apocalypse, which is good because we're going to spoil it today.
Oh, good. So you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
After Wolf Den Live, Bob will stream making the thumbnail. Oh, there he is. There's Super Ty being a good mod.
Yep.
Forgot to charge my Apple Pencil, so now my iPad looks ridiculous.
Yeah, that's probably the dumbest thing Apple
It's
has
really
done
dumb
in a
because
long
I'm always
time.
terrified that it's going to break.
Yeah.
There is an adapter so that you can plug it into the lightning bolt cable. Mm-hmm. I lost it, but I think I found it again. I don't know. It's dumb. It's stupid. But you know what? It works, and it only takes a few seconds to charge it. So hello, Owen Atten, and the feistiest ninja, Fred. Everybody, hello.
Fred Bushy, his first Wolf Den Live. I hope I pronounced that right.
Really?
Yep.
He's a frequent commenter.
Yes, he is.
We like him.
Yes.
We like all of you, but especially Fred. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for joining us, as always.
We are going to be talking about X-Men Apocalypse. But first, and other things,
Yeah.
obviously, because it's freaking Wolf Den Live. Was this your first one? But first, we got to talk about Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus. Because
Yes.
those are new.
This is your monthly reminder that PS Plus and Xbox Live Games with Gold are out. And that if you have those services, get them because
They're free. And there's no reason not to.
And, you know, the selection this month for both consoles, pretty good.
I disagree, but
You
let's
disagree? All right,
let's go in.
Let's go into it. Okay, so we'll start with...
Start with PlayStation Plus, because
Yes.
that's what I have up.
Okay.
That's what we usually start with.
So on PlayStation 4, you have NBA 2K16 and Gone Home. PlayStation 3, you have Echochrome and Siren Blood Curse, the complete series, episodes 1 through 12. And on PSP, you get God of War, Chains of Olympus, and Little Deviants.
God of War. It's great.
Yeah, and last month we got the other PSP God of War game, Ghost of Sparta. So now they basically just gave you both of them for free.
I think they're running out of titles.
Yeah, probably. It's because they're PSP games. And now
You know how I know they're running out of titles? NBA 2K16.
Here's the interesting thing, because according to this handy dandy IGN price guide, that's still going for full retail, $60.
Yeah, because 17's not out.
Yeah, and
But when is it coming out? Look it up right now. When is NBA 2K17 coming out?
I imagine soon.
Because it comes out soon. This is dumb.
They're already announcing stuff for WWE 2K17 September of this year.
Okay,
It is
all right.
2K17.
I'll allow it.
But you know what? They don't often give out the sports
Never
games.
sports games.
And, 2K16 is one of the better ones. So, that's interesting that they would give that away.
All right, I'll say that this is a pretty good deal, considering the next one's not out for a few months.
Yeah.
And nobody's probably buying this game.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a relatively good idea.
I mean, I don't see them doing this for every 2K game.
I'm sad that it's taking up a spot on the main, thing.
Yeah.
Because, there's always two, really awesome games.
Yeah.
It's one of the awesome games. The other one's
Right.
Gone Home. The Gone Home, I think, is a given, and I'm surprised it's taken this long to end up on the free
Right.
games. I've been waiting for that to happen for a
Yeah,
long time.
me
Maybe
too.
now I'll actually play it, even
Yeah.
though didn't you bought it?
I bought it for the Humble Bundle, never touched it.
Right, you gave it to me, and I never
Yeah.
played it. So now maybe I'll actually play it.
Yeah. So there's that, and then on Xbox Live, Games with Gold, you have Goat Simulator and The Crew for Xbox One, and on Xbox 360, which you can play on your Xbox One, is Super Meat Boy and XCOM Enemy Unknown.
Now, Super Meat Boy, has that been on Xbox One before, or is this carried over from last month? Because I remember that being on Xbox.
That was a PlayStation
Right.
free game. It debuted on the 360. This is the first time you'll be able to play it on Xbox
Interesting.
One, or maybe they announced it as backwards compatible.
Because I remember seeing this a little bit ago.
I mean, I don't think they repeat titles. It might have been like they announced it as backwards compatible
On
last
their
month for Xbox
website,
One.
on their this is Major Nelson that I have up now, but
Yeah.
on their on the Xbox website, if you Google Games with Gold,
Yeah.
this morning when I checked, it still had what's it called, Sunset Overdrive up.
It takes a while to refresh.
Yeah, that's
I think he refreshes at like noon, but the new games are up, so you can go get those. And Costume Quest 2 is still available for Xbox One if you haven't picked that up yet.
Costume Quest I'll allow.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say there's more stuff on Xbox this time that I would like to play. I'm going to play Gone Home.
Yeah.
I already downloaded Super Meat Boy, the free PlayStation Plus
Right.
one, and got it on my Vita
I
cross-buy.
like now Super Meat Boy is on Xbox One because that was the better soundtrack. It was so much better.
Oh,
It's the original soundtrack.
so this is gonna okay.
Yeah.
I never realized anyway.
I'm excited because everybody says XCOM is a great game. It's not a game I would ever have paid money for, but now that it's free, I'll definitely play it. And same thing with the Crew and Goat Simulator. I have Goat Simulator on my phone. Not a good game for the phone.
Really,
Yeah.
I saw people who don't play games.
Mm-hmm.
Like one girl was just playing that on her phone, and she's like, "Oh my god, this game's amazing!" And she's
Yeah.
she doesn't actively play games. Everybody's like crowding around her. What is that?
Yeah.
So like it's a fun game,
Yeah,
I guess.
just to mess around.
Yeah,
in.
so like I could see why people who don't like go home and play your game on a console, I could see why they would find it more convenient to play it on a touchscreen.
Yeah.
But why isn't it good for the phone? Is it because of the touchscreen?
Yeah, I just feel like that's a game that would definitely be better with like a controller or a mouse and keyboard.
I mean, it's supposed to be a broken game,
Yeah.
so I guess it's kind of maybe a little too broken.
Yeah.
People seem to be reacting well to these free games.
Yes.
Fanatic says 2K16 probably made a small amount of people really excited. I don't care much though, he says.
The Shiftiest Ninja says, aren't they only giving 2K16 away because it's the NBA Finals or something?
Is it?
I
Or did that happen already? I feel like
I have no
happened.
idea. I don't follow basketball.
I feel like the NBA Finals happened already. Super Meat Boy was on PS4, Ethan says, and plays as a PlayStation Plus game. Yes, I know. That's
Oh
where I
yeah,
played
the
it.
NBA Finals is happening right now. It's the Cavaliers and the Warriors.
You know what? It's pretty smart to make it a PlayStation
Yeah.
Plus title.
Not the.
I was pissed at first because I don't care about it,
Yeah.
but you know what? Not a bad idea.
In that case, do you think they'll do something like give away WWE 2K16 for like WrestleMania or something? That would be a good
No.
idea.
I'm definitely not going to do that.
They announced for WWE 2K17, Goldberg is going to be in the game. Now you may be thinking
Governor Goldberg,
No,
Senator Goldberg,
he was never a senator. You're
Mayor
thinking of-
Goldberg.
You may be thinking, why is this a big deal? Goldberg has not had a good relationship with the WWE for like 10
Oh.
years now, and now he's in the game. And this has been kind of a trend. They would get the wrestler to be in the game and then come back into the good graces of the company. Happened with the Macho Man, happened with the Ultimate Warrior, happened with Sting. Now it's happening with Goldberg. Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior are dead, and Sting had to retire. So
It's not looking good for
not
him.
looking good for Goldberg.
It's that curse.
Yeah.
He's not going to be on the cover, is he?
He's not going to be on the cover. He's going to be a pre-order bonus, which is
That's dumb.
that is very dumb.
So who am I thinking of when I say
Jesse Ventura
Jesse Ventura?
was the governor of Minnesota. I know they all look alike.
No, Goldberg. What was he when he retired out of wrestling? He didn't do anything?
No, he didn't do anything. He was in that movie Santa's Sleigh where he
He
played the Santa
wasn't
Claus who killed
like
a bunch of people.
a politician at
No.
all.
No.
I find that hard to believe.
I promise you he was not a politician.
All right, fine. I'll allow it. So, let's ruin X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay.
Guys, we're going to spoil it because, you know, if you didn't see it by now, probably don't see it.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. You did not like the movie.
No.
I thought it was just okay.
Right.
There are better X-Men movies out there, and there are worse X-Men movies out there. And by worse X-Men movies, I really just mean X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Right.
There were parts of it I liked, thought they were really good, but there was just a lot of not good in it.
Yeah, that's what... Like, I just wasn't excited the whole movie.
Yeah.
I didn't care about any of the characters. Except for Wolverine, but he had, like, the worst cameo.
Yeah. The Wolverine...
It was such a tease.
The Wolverine cameo in this is blatantly exists just so they can shoehorn in Wolverine.
And it makes no sense.
It really doesn't.
Especially if you've watched the other movies.
Yeah. The only thing I will say about that scene is it gave us an excuse to finally see Wolverine in his stupid Weapon X hat.
Right.
I laughed when he came out of the cage and like he was wearing that helmet. I'm just like, that is great. That makes me so happy. But then the rest of the movie was just okay. You know, I feel like they tried to do things because they felt like they had to, not necessarily because they thought it would be, you know, good character development or anything like that. Like they gave Quicksilver 2 showcase scenes, and like we really didn't need them.
There's the second one
when he's beating up Apocalypse.
Okay,
I mean,
I wouldn't really consider that.
1.5 showcase scenes then.
Yeah,
you know, but it just makes you think like, okay, if he's so overpowered, why doesn't he just solve everything? You know,
it's true. Well, yeah, I Apocalypse wasn't menacing.
No,
I found out after that was Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, that's
which is
very
crazy
disappointing
because he's an amazing actor.
Yeah,
and
they wasted him.
Yeah, he did I mean, I don't want to say it was his fault because when every once in a while during the movie when Apocalypse gets excited, he has this like really booming and like deep voice.
Yeah,
and that is Apocalypse's voice.
Yeah,
for 90% of the time that Apocalypse is talking, he sounds like a little bitch. And he's like not taller than everybody. He's like shorter than some of them.
Yeah.
It's like he's just one of the guys. He's
Yeah.
not the all-powerful Apocalypse that he should be, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that feeling at all from him, especially towards the end. He felt like a little bitch.
Yeah. I also felt, too, that, you know, because this was, they were starting over again with Jean Grey, with Cyclops, with Nightcrawler, and I just felt like they didn't get the screen time they deserved. You know, they got, like, little scenes here and there, but they didn't get any real development. You know, I feel like the filmmakers just expect you to know who these characters are, and that's what, you know, makes it okay to just put them in the movie. But if you're starting over again, you know, we need to see them grow and evolve and develop, and we really didn't get that here.
I honestly like this trend of just throwing characters in if you expect most of the audience to know them. Jubilee, they threw in Jubilee, which is one of the only Asian characters, and everybody's going nuts about having Asian like actresses doing stuff. Is she even Asian in the comics and the cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay,
She's like Chinese
because they didn't know how to, you know, they only knew how to draw round eyes in in the cartoon. But she's in there, and she doesn't even say like a word. And she's on the screen a lot, and they never even say her name or anything.
This is continuing a trend because, like, even in the original trilogy, Jubilee was in those movies, but like she didn't do anything. She never used her powers. You know, she was just there.
Yeah,
you
and people actually like her.
I don't like Jubilee. She's a dumb character with a dumb power.
People don't like her, but she is a huge part of the animated stuff, and that look is very iconic. And when I saw her, I was like, "Yo, that's we got Cyclops, we got Jubilee. This is like the freaking cartoon. This is awesome." And it didn't feel like that at all. It just looked like that.
Also, too, going on that idea, at the end of the movie, when they're all wearing like their classic costumes, like finally, Mystique is wearing white and blue with the skull belt, and Cyclops is wearing, blue with the bandolier, and Nightcrawler is wearing the red and black suit. It's like literally 2 minutes and they don't do anything.
Right.
Like the Sentinels come out and they're in the danger room and like that's it. Also, I don't understand. Well, I understand why. Beast and Mystique, majority of the movie, they're not wearing their prosthetic makeup. It's just Jennifer Lawrence and Nicholas Hoult. I get why they did that, probably because Jennifer Lawrence and Nicholas Hoult didn't want to go through like the prosthetic process. No, screw you. Your Beast and your Mystique, those are your forms. Mystique makes a very big deal about how her blue self is her true form, and here you are. You spend the whole movie in your not true form. Like, what the hell is that?
Well, yeah, it's because Jennifer Lawrence said, "I don't want to be in that makeup." She gave an interview and she was like, "Yeah, I don't want to be in that makeup. I told them I'm not going to be in that makeup."
Well, then you know what? Then guess what? Mystique's not in the movie.
I know that's not something that you say during an interview. I understand you don't want to be in the makeup, but like
Jennifer Lawrence doesn't really know what a filter is.
they have to write around you because of that.
There's that scene when they're in that like cell, which I assume is a cell that like dampens mutant abilities,
right.
And then she just morphs into her human self.
It's dumb. That was dumb.
I mean,
they honestly did a good job of writing around it, saying that she's
in hiding.
Yeah, and,
but
like doesn't really
like that's
be.
another thing because like by the end of the movie, like she's the leader of the X-Men and she's like on a good guy now. Like that's not Mystique.
Yeah, no,
that's not Mystique.
That's stupid. Also, I know I get this is an alternate like timeline. But
yeah,
but like, is it like there's all these things that like connect it to the old timeline and rip it away from it, like Weapon X.
Yeah,
that's not how Weapon X happened in your own movies. Frickin' the major spoiler for the ending, the Phoenix Force really pissed me off.
Oh yeah, that was dumb. I mean,
I don't remember X3, and I know you just did a video on it, so you probably remember a lot more than I do. How in X3 did the Phoenix Force come?
They explain it as a suppression of Jean's ultimate power. 'Cause she's a telepath and she's telekinetic, but she also has this like third ability that's so strong and powerful it corrupts her mind, and Professor X like keeps it down with psychic blocks.
Oh, so in the movies it's never an external force.
Right. It's within her.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense then.
Yeah. So they keep they're keeping that trend here, but they have one sentence about it when Jean wakes up from her dream, and then at the end it's just like, "Hey, Jean, go Phoenix," and she does. And it kind of like ruins not really the surprise or like the impact of like what the Phoenix is, because when Jean Grey is possessed by the Phoenix, like that almost destroys the X-Men completely.
Exactly.
That was like the most difficult thing they ever had to do up to that point.
And in the whole premise of X3 is that happening, and like basically like the apocalypse is coming because she's freaking she's unlocking the Phoenix
no,
Force.
because like I say in my video, they botched the Phoenix Saga because they had to like balance that story with the Cure story. But yeah, like you see at the end of X3, like the full devastation of the Phoenix Force, even in the middle when like she destroys her childhood home and kills Professor X,
right?
And like at the end when she's murdering everybody on.
And this one she's
Alcatraz.
like a kid and she just like, I got it, and she just friggin' like does it.
So
that's dumb.
Yeah. Another scene when they go to the mall and like they come out of watching Return of the Jedi.
That made me very mad.
And like they're complaining how it wasn't as good as Empire, and Jean says, "Oh, the third one's always usually the worst one." I feel like that scene was thrown in there to preemptively, shut everybody up, saying like it wasn't as good as the last one.
That reminded me of how tone deaf the Mighty Number 9 people were.
Yeah.
Because like I get that they're making fun of X3.
Yeah.
The third one's never as good as the other ones. Totally fine. This is also the third movie in a trilogy.
Yes.
So you're also making fun of the movie that we're watching.
Yes.
You're saying that the movie that we're watching isn't as good as the last one.
Yeah.
You're telling me that.
Yeah. So like then why did I spend
like I just got duped. You just duped me. You know that this movie isn't good.
Yeah.
It's different if Deadpool says that.
Yes.
Because that's Deadpool.
That's Deadpool.
He can make fun of himself, but like you're making fun of like this is supposed to be a good movie.
Yeah.
They made this to be a good movie. I and all right, so Magneto's storyline. A lot of people say that is the best part of the movie.
I would say so.
I was not invested in it.
I they didn't do it enough justice. Like they just gave just enough, just to give him motivation to come out of hiding to turn evil and
Right.
join up with Apocalypse.
Yeah, yeah, there was too much going on, and they didn't have enough time to touch on it.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough weight given to him having a wife
Yeah.
and a kid, and they major spoilers again. They die immediately, and it is the dumbest way.
A lot of people just like die immediately. Like Havoc dies immediately, after he was a big part of First Class. He had a cameo in Days of Future Past. So like, oh, finally he's back in Apocalypse, and they're going to explain how he's related to Cyclops, because he is. And then, nope, dies
That's
off
another
screen.
thing. He died, and I didn't know for like 10 or 15
Yeah,
minutes.
because you're too busy watching the stupid Quicksilver scene.
And then they're like, "Oh, he was the closest to the blast." No,
Yeah.
it's like I didn't see it happen.
yeah.
So I don't know that it happened, and it happened right in front of me like 10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that he died immediately?
I would-
Like, did you know that the fire consumed him? No, because you don't see it happen.
Yeah, like when that happened, I was too busy, watching the Quicksilver scene, which admittedly was a cool scene. But, I feel like that's kind of crappy thing to do to your audience,
Quicksilver was the best character in the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's the saving grace of that film. I feel like they need to like stop using him so much, because he's so overpowered. Like a lot of the drama gets sucked out of the room.
I feel like if there was less characters and Quicksilver was the main character, I would have liked this movie.
Yeah, I mean there were other parts I liked. The Magneto story was good. Fassbender is a really good Magneto.
I don't necessarily think that. Yes, Fassbender is a good
And,
Magneto.
like-
I don't think the Magneto story was good. I don't think it was that.
I
Good.
think like it needed more time, like because
Okay.
they had to like just cram everything in there.
Right.
But Cody Smith McPhee for Nightcrawler was good. James McAvoy was again good as Professor X, and we finally get to see why he's bald, because we needed to see that.
Yeah, of course.
The girl they got to play Storm was good. For all intents and purposes, Cyclops and Jean Grey were good. But there's just a lot of other things that, just make it a lesser experience overall. I think it's definitely a movie I would say. Like I'm telling people, it's a cable movie. If it's on cable,
Right.
like, then yeah, watch it. Maybe you'll enjoy it then. But I wouldn't recommend going to the theaters for it.
I think that there was a lot going on in the movie where I was like, why is this happening? Why isn't this happening? Why don't they just do this? Because I mean, the problem with characters that are like all powerful, like we say this about Superman a lot,
Yeah,
is that they're hard to write because you have to limit them a little bit.
yeah,
And now you have all of these characters, you put them together, they are all powerful.
yeah,
It's just like when Magneto's family was getting murdered.
yeah,
There was so much Magneto could do about it.
yeah.
That whole scene, I was like, they don't have any like iron on them or anything that he
Yeah.
can do, but like right at the end, he takes the girl's locket, and
And just like sends it through their neck.
I was
like a
like,
speeding
that whole
bullet.
time I was like, this is gonna be awesome. He's gonna destroy them.
Yeah,
And then they killed his family, and then he got like emo mad, and very slowly like took them out through the neck.
yeah,
And like that was almost really cool. Another scene that was almost really cool was the Wolverine scene.
yes,
When he's out, I was like, finally, Wolverine's in this movie.
because he has to be.
Yeah. And I thought he was going to be added to the roster.
Yeah,
And then he runs off into the wilderness.
yeah,
I thought that scene was almost cool because he looked awesome. He was just straight up murdering people, but like it wasn't that like action packed. It wasn't that gruesome because it's a
Yeah.
PG-13 movie or whatever. He just looked like he wasn't like scary or anything, even though he's terrifying to everybody around him, but
Yeah.
he wasn't scary to us.
that's because he's got that stupid helmet on.
That, and they didn't shoot it like they should have shot that like a horror movie.
Yeah.
I posted a video of the first time you see Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox in the first Metal Gear Solid. Because it reminded me of that scene where he's just slicing people up in the hallway. In that scene, you have Solid Snake around the corner with the gun. Like, what the hell's that? Because the first time you see Cyborg Ninja, and he's just murdering people, and he kills. You look in and you just see blood and bodies, and people like screaming.
Yeah.
And you see one guy shoot, no, and then he gets like sliced up.
Yeah.
That is how you do a scene like that. Then you see Cyborg Ninja and he's just slicing people up, and you're like, whoa, I don't want to get anywhere near that guy. Snake is there as like, I guess like an avatar. Like, you feel for Snake, you want Snake to win out.
Yeah.
So you're like, I don't want Snake to go in there.
Yeah.
You know? So you have something to go with. Instead, this movie, everybody's behind another door, and you have like random thugs just going in and getting annihilated, and you don't care. Who cares?
I'll say two more things. Because I should probably bring it up. There was also Angel and Psylocke were in the movie. And I got a little excited because in Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender, which I did a video on, you should read it, they have a really good relationship. Like, they have a really good romantic relationship in there. I was hoping we'd get a little bit of that in this movie, and you sort of see, because like you could sort of see like they kind of like look after each other, but like other than that, they didn't get much to do. They were basically just attack dogs for Apocalypse. And as cool as it was to see Angel become Archangel, he dies at the end and doesn't really get to do anything else.
He does?
I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure he was in the jet when it crashes.
Oh yeah.
And then
unclear. I'd say
another unclear death. And then Psylocke is played by Olivia Munn, who's not a good actress.
Right.
And, I'll give her this. She looked exactly like
She
Psylocke.
looked awesome.
She looked exactly like Psylocke.
I think that she played the part well. It's just that nobody on Apocalypse's side had any motivation to be on Apocalypse's side.
Except for
Magneto.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Storm, she just doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
And Psylocke has zero motivation.
Yeah.
There is zero motivation for her to be... I think it's a little bit implied that she was, like, kind of forced to work for that bald guy.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, she's really powerful.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for her to have to be forced to do anything.
Yeah.
So... And she barely talks or does anything. So, like, there's no character development for Psylocke at all.
Yeah.
And it sucks because she is a cool character.
Yeah.
But she was just brooding the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have something else to say, or was that it?
No, I think that's it. So, X-Men Apocalypse, 2 stars. Wait for it to be on cable.
Yeah,
You do not like it.
I did not like. Again, it wasn't exciting. Like Batman vs Superman, I was excited and I wanted to see what was going to happen next. Not to say that it was a great movie,
Right.
but X-Men Apocalypse did not care what was going to happen next. Also, I am so old now that I have to pee no matter what. I'll pee before the movie, and I'll just have to pee.
I held it in the whole time, and then the second the credits happened, I ran to the bathroom and then ran back to see the dumb end credit scene.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
I mean, I get it, Mr. Sinister, but you could have done something better than that.
Right. Like, and we, it's obviously alluding to, like, I got X-23 out of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what S6 was. I had no
S6
idea.
is Mr. Sinister's company.
Yeah, I know that now, but like...
But, like, this leads into a problem because if you're hinting at the next X-Men movie is going to take place in the 90s, which they need to stop doing that, because Michael Fassbender is 39 years old and Magneto was supposed to be in his 50s in this movie. And Michael Fassbender does not look like a 50-year-old.
Right.
So it's going to take place in the 90s. It's going to take place in space. It's probably going to be the Phoenix Saga again. And now you're throwing Mr. Sinister into it, which he really didn't have anything to do with the Phoenix Saga. Like, the problem with...
I feel like they're going to throw the Phoenix Saga out the window.
Again?
Yeah, no, I feel like they're going to be like, it was just a one-time thing. Or she'll just do it again and, like, nobody will care.
I mean, because, like...
That's just part of her
I've
powers
been
now.
saying this now, and it's getting worse. The X-Men movies have become just as convoluted as the X-Men comics. And that defeats the purpose of the X-Men movies.
Right. Yeah, it is. No, that's exactly why this movie wasn't that good. Because
Yeah.
they packed too much crap in it and it got too confusing.
Yeah.
Especially the timeline now is insane.
I mean, I would say like if you know X-Men, it won't be as confusing as for someone like who doesn't know X-Men all that well.
Right.
But still, that's bad.
All right, let's go into the chat here.
Yeah.
Tevia says, "Help! I like X-Men Apocalypse. I can't help you. You're in the wrong place."
I know a lot of people who did. So I mean, if you found something you like about it, good for you.
Liv Tarok says the best part was the Quicksilver scene. He also says they could kick off Jennifer Lawrence and put another actress since the character can be another person.
Exactly.
So I think that's a pretty good idea, but a pretty strange way to just, do it like that.
Well, I mean, Marvel's done it, so.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. The Shiftiest Ninja says, F you, Bryan Singer. Episode 6 is awesome.
Yes.
I agree.
Like,
I love Muppets.
why would you do that?
Fanatic says, I don't get how writers feel like acknowledgement absolves them from blame for something being bad. If your thing is bad, you telling us it's bad doesn't make it any better. That's very true.
That's very true.
It's like they say, like, when you're presenting a project
Yeah.
or when you're giving a speech, you can't say that or you're presenting a project is a better example. You're presenting a project, you can't say, I know I did this wrong and this wrong. You can't acknowledge the things that you did wrong.
I mean, yeah, just saying that, like, it's bad doesn't automatically make it good.
I just lost the chat. I'm doing it on my phone because it's easier to scroll. Yeah, everybody liked the Quicksilver scene.
Yeah.
Cthulhu Chow says Solid Snake versus Wolverine only on the Wii U.
I wish.
Stormseeker says, have you guys talked about the Overwatch shorts yet? I talk about it in one of my videos. I think last week's video. But he hasn't played Overwatch, doesn't really care.
No, I don't really.
I love Overwatch. It's amazing.
All my friends are getting Overwatch, and they're getting PS4. So if you want to play with my friends who are mad that I'm not playing it because I don't care,
you should play it.
I'm playing Doom.
You have the ability to play it.
I do.
You have it on PS4.
That's true. That's true. I do. Well, you got to finish Uncharted 4, and then I got to finish Doom. So we can switch. So you can play Quantum Break, and I can play Uncharted 4. And
I'm so far behind.
Yeah,
I have still halfway to go. In Uncharted.
Jesus Christ.
Nico asks, how old is Quicksilver supposed to be?
Yeah, I don't know, because like if he was in his 20s in Days of Future Past, then he's in his 30s in Apocalypse.
Really?
Yeah, it's a 10-year jump.
God,
it's been 10-year jumps.
Nothing makes sense. None of that makes sense.
Again, they need to stop doing that.
Okay, we're moving on.
All right.
What did I want to talk about? Not a lot going on.
Yeah. Which I guess is good.
Let's stick to movies.
Okay.
Let's do Rogue One.
Okay.
Because there's something I want to talk about video games, but it's going to take a long time.
Okay. So I guess we'll just go through this quick. So Rogue One is getting reshoots. Now, every movie gets reshoots, especially big budget movies.
Right.
They get reshoots. It's just the nature of the beast. Rogue One comes out in December. So if this movie, is done now, they probably move the release date up. So the fact that, it's getting reshoots, fine, whatever. This way, they fix whatever problems there could be and they polish it up real good and they release it to us and it's going to be amazing. Problem is, there's rumors going abound that the reason why it's getting reshoots is because Disney is not happy with the version of the movie Gareth Edwards presented to them. It's apparently very different in tone and quality from The Force Awakens.
Who said tone? I heard that it just didn't match the magic of episode 7.
Which probably means tone.
Right.
Let's see here. According to the Hollywood Reporter, the reshoots are definitely happening. The reason is much more specific. The move is happening after execs screened the movie and felt that it was tonally off with with what a classic Star Wars movie should feel like.
I don't
The
like
goal of
that.
the reshoots will be to lighten the mood, bring some levity into the story, and restore a sense of fun
No.
and adventure. Now,
No.
if this was episode 8,
Fine.
fine.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, I thought the whole point of these anthology stories were to do something different with Star Wars. And this being a heist movie about smugglers going and stealing Death Star plans, that should be tonally different from the main episodes.
This was the point of Rogue One. We
Yeah.
knew the tone. Like
Yeah.
the trailer set the tone. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't even seen the movie yet.
Yeah.
But I get that this is a totally different tone.
Yeah. This
than
is
The
going to
Force
be
Awakens.
a little bit...
I also get that people who aren't nerds might be confused. They
Yeah.
might go into it, bring their kids, be like, "Oh, this is gonna be a fun movie," and it's not a fun movie.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, yeah, like from that 2-minute clip, we saw like, okay, this is going to be different. It's going to be less high-flying, swashbuckling action. It's going to be more grounded. It's
And
going
they've
to be more
also said
gritty.
that it's pretty violent.
Yeah. I mean, you see, like, even in the trailer, the Death Troopers and when Jin blows up, the Stormtroopers are flying everywhere.
Right.
You know, and you got like human beings rushing an AT-AT. That's not going to end well for them.
The Star Wars universe is a dark place.
Yeah.
But in the movies we get to see some powerful characters who can break through that darkness. For most of the citizens in the Star Wars universe, times are rough
Yeah.
the whole time, except for the prequels.
Yeah.
The prequels show the downward slope into
Right.
darkness, but for the most part, an everyday citizen. Look at episode 4, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Yeah.
They're
They're skeletons.
yeah, they're skeletons.
They're charred
Well,
to a crisp.
They're average people, and they kind of have
Yeah.
they're not doing too well. They're poor farmers.
Yeah. I mean, I just hope that the reshoots are there just to be reshoots, that they're not going to drastically change the tone of the film. Because I really do think this should be a little bit more serious than the main episodes. I mean, I'm sure episode 8 will probably be, the dark one of the saga because the second one usually is. But, all in all, like, they should definitely take the anthology movies in a different direction. There were plans to do an anthology movie about Boba Fett. And you're going to tell me like that's going to be a lighthearted movie?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not gonna like rise from the ashes. He's not gonna be like a good guy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He's gonna be, I get that he's not like that bad of a guy.
Yeah.
Nobody in the Star Wars universe is that evil. They all have like a side that you can like relate to, and that's why I think that their characters are so good.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of people, but I heard like the only criticism I've heard from The Force Awakens is that Kylo Ren isn't evil enough. And I think that that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Because you want to be able to relate to the bad guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would be upset about these reshoots if they're trying to make it have the same sort of magic that The Force Awakens has.
Yeah.
I think that they have to know that it's not going to do well as The Force Awakens, well as The Force Awakens. They can't it doesn't have the same budget, and they can't expect it to make as much money.
Yeah. I think on some level Disney knows this. I think on some level they know like this is going to be a smaller scale film.
Right.
Whereas, the main episodes with Rey and Finn and Poe Dameron and Kylo Ren, those are going to be the big ones.
They can't expect us, because they're going to run us dry.
Yeah.
Having yearly releases.
I mean,
come on.
they're already, they've already announced another Force Friday for Rogue One figures, which I'm going to be there like an asshole.
Right.
But, I mean, I think another thing too, I should, before we move on, the Hollywood Reporter and some other news sites are saying like that, this is in crisis mode, that like Disney is in crisis mode. They're freaking out. They're like, I don't think that's the case. It may be true that they want to lighten the mood to make it more like episode 7, but in terms of it being in crisis, I think it's fine. Again, the movie comes out in December. That's plenty of time to smooth things out and fix whatever may be broken, so to speak.
Right.
And by the end of it, we'll get a good movie. Whether or not it'll be what Gareth Edwards wanted to show on screen, that's a whole nother story.
last time people freaked out, it was for the Suicide Squad reshoots right
Right.
after everybody hated Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
So that's another thing where like they do reshoots all the time.
Yeah.
I honestly think that the Suicide Squad reshoots are because they had a lot of money left over from Batman vs Superman.
Really? They had a lot of money left over?
Well, not left over, but they made money. They didn't lose money.
They didn't make a lot of money.
I know, but like, I don't think that they changed anything because of Batman vs Superman. Is what I'm saying. I think that
I
they're
get what
like
you're saying. I mean, yeah, no, I think the reshoots were just.
I think that they're like, all right, we know we're gonna make at least our money back on Suicide Squad.
It was
so-
probably just regularly scheduled reshoots.
Right.
I mean, in terms of like maybe they like changed the tone of like a scene or two, but I feel like that movie is still gonna be, whatever.
whatever it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that they're not changing the whole tone of Rogue One.
Yeah, because that for I still watch that trailer sometimes because it's awesome.
Super Ty wants Rogue One to be dark. Atten says that means Rogue One was going to be awesome and real. I mean, it still can be.
Yeah.
He also says, I hope they at least save the original version to be leaked. Well, I mean, a director's cut would be nice.
Yeah, I don't know if Disney would do that.
Yeah,
To
you're
be
right,
honest.
probably not.
Cthulhu Chow just keeps saying other EU stories to be adapted to film, like the Darth Bane trilogy, the Old Republic, the Thrawn trilogy.
I hope that they borrow a lot from the expanded
Yes.
universe. I feel like they are, but not enough.
Yeah.
They should stop dancing around, being around the bush, and just adapt some of those characters.
Yeah.
People would go nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to use some of those characters and change them a little bit instead of taking from them and
Yeah.
renaming them,
Basically, we want our Kyle Katarn.
Yes, that's what we want.
That's what we're
We
saying.
want Kyle Katarn. Gilbert says, no matter what, I'll be the first in line for a new Star Wars movie.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. No,
Of
we'll be there
course.
opening day.
Okay. Moving on.
Yes.
This is... I'm going to try to do this quick
Okay.
because it's very confusing.
Okay.
So, have you heard about Ubisoft?
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, there's this company called Vivendi, which pretty much... They're an entertainment conglomerate
Yes.
focused in... They're based in France.
Mm-hmm.
They are an entertainment company, but they really don't... Really, their whole business is buying up other entertainment companies.
Yeah.
I picture a very small office with just suits there and just money everywhere because they are shilling in money ham over fist. Hand over fist, ham over fist. They're all pigs in suits over there. So, Vivendi, they've been around for a really long time. They used to be a water company.
Founded
their
in
start.
1853,
Yes.
according to their Wikipedia.
As a water company. Then somewhere in the 80s, they switched over to like sewer management or something. And then they, like in the 90s, they decided to buy up entertainment companies. So they've been around.
They used to be...
They're a company that they're in it for the business. They're not in it to like make cool things.
They used to be partnered with Universal, Vivendi Universal. They used to be...
So when they partnered with Universal, they also partnered with their Universal Game Studio.
which I think was like Sierra and...
Yes, which was part of Activision, which is
Yes.
which ended up eventually being part of Activision, which is why Activision now owns Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
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 So Vivendi is the reason why Activision has Crash Bandicoot now.
Right.
And that's why nothing's happening with Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
So they're in the business of buying and selling companies. Vivendi was part of Activision Blizzard up until 2013.
Yes.
They sold their shares of Activision Blizzard. Right now, for the last couple years, they've been trying to acquire Ubisoft for some reason.
Yeah.
They don't. Again, they don't want to like acquire a business and do cool things with them like Disney does. They just want to make money.
Yeah.
So they want to acquire Ubisoft and Gameloft. Gameloft is
They're
They're
Ubisoft's
partners.
mobile division,
yes.
basically.
Ubisoft is run by two brothers, two
Yeah.
French guys.
Yves Guillemot and his brother.
Gilmond, the Gilmond brothers. So is
Michel Guillemot.
Gameloft.
Yeah.
surprisingly, Ubisoft is only 4 times bigger than Gameloft.
Really?
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's
Well, I
surprising,
mean,
but
GameLoft is huge. Like every mobile game knockoff is made by GameLoft.
mobile games make a lot of money,
Yes.
and they're no joke.
Yeah.
And Gameloft is the biggest mobile game
Yeah.
company. So, and they know Vivendi knows this. They want to be in that mobile gaming market.
Yeah.
So they, instead of buying companies, they buy up all of the shares of the company. So they bought up all of the shares of Gameloft. I don't know why Gameloft isn't under the Ubisoft umbrella. It's a totally separate company.
Yeah.
And they bought up Gameloft. So now Vivendi owns Gameloft. And now they're going after Ubisoft.
Yes.
The Gilmon brothers, whatever, the French, I can't pronounce it. They do not want Vivendi to own them.
They are
because they want full control.
They are considering this a hostile takeover.
Yes. They don't want to sell it to them. So Vivendi's like, fine, we still want it. So they're going around to all of the shareholders and buying up the shares at a ridiculous price. Because the shareholders don't really care. They don't like video games.
Yeah.
Most of them. They just want the money. They're just rich guys who buy and sell shares just like Vivendi does. So I guess imagine being the owner of a game company and you're really in it for the games, and you own you're a majority shareholder, so you own most of the shares, but that majority is only like 20-30% maybe.
Yeah.
Because you figure there's a lot of other shareholders, so you're the majority. Now these people who have a ridiculous amount of money come in and they buy that other like 60-70%.
Yeah.
That's insane. They're saying hostile takeover.
Yeah.
And Vivendi said we're not doing that. And according to French law, if you say we're not taking over your company, they're not allowed to buy any shares for 6 months. So they're not allowed to continue to buy shares for 6 months, but they're going to. So I think the news that broke today was that they acquired Gameloft.
Yeah.
So they are slow, like even though they say they're not, they are slowly
but surely
taking over Ubisoft. Now what this means for video games is that, I mean, I don't know, like it's always bad when a big company takes over a smaller company and like tries to run things.
Yeah.
This is weird because it's a huge company taking over another huge company. And like Ubisoft already, like, people don't like them.
Yeah.
They're already doing really businessy things that are stupid.
Yeah.
You know, they're not doing things because of the art of video games.
Yeah.
They're doing things because they want to make money. And now Vivendi's in here and they want to make more money.
Yeah.
And potentially sell it off and like chop it up into little pieces just to make money.
Yeah.
So this might mean really bad things for games that are down the line. Also, they used to own Activision.
Yeah.
So you got Activision, you got Ubisoft. The only other one that's huge that's left is EA.
Yeah. Well, they don't own Activision anymore.
They don't.
Right. So now I guess
They sold the majority of their...
They sold the majority stake in Activision Blizzard. I guess they regret that, and now they need another video game company to pull them into the
Or
way.
maybe they didn't see... They must not have seen a profit coming out of Activision Blizzard, which is insane.
Yeah.
But this is their business. It's buying and selling things like this. Did they... They sold their shares to random people.
Yeah.
I think... Well, no. Activision bought MLG.
Right.
And partnered with ESPN. So I don't think there's any shareholding buying going on there.
This Activision Blizzard is a shareholder of Vivendi. So like the reverse.
Oh, you know what? I think they merged MLG and Activision. I don't think Activision bought them outright. I don't know. Business is weird.
Yes.
Basically what I'm saying is if you're a Ubisoft fan, you have something to worry about.
Yeah.
Because this could be really bad.
Yeah.
Remember what happened to Crash Bandicoot because of Vivendi? Could happen to Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia, the Tom Clancy games, Rayman, the Tom Clancy games, Watch Dogs, Far Cry,
The Division.
The Tom Clancy games.
Yeah. Yes. Live to Rock says, that sucks. I thought, he said, I thought Naughty Dog had Crash Bandicoot. Nope.
Nope.
You should watch my video on Crash Bandicoot. Blah, blah, blah.
Assassin's Crash Bandicoot only on Game Gear. Yo, I'd play that.
Yo. Blah, 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 blah. Fnatic says, so far, Vivendi owns 17.73% of Ubisoft.
I think EA owns a stake in Ubisoft too. I could be wrong on that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they own a stake in each other.
Yeah.
Oh, also Ubisoft is now trying to work with Canada because they do a lot of business in Canada. They're trying to work with Canada to prevent this French company from buying them up because Canada, the country of Canada, is really, really good to video games.
Yes.
They fund a lot of video games using their own tax dollars.
Yeah.
They house a lot of video games in Montreal. Like a lot of video game companies. The president of Canada was just hanging out at Ubisoft like a few weeks ago. Just being like, whoa, this is cool. Everything's cool here. So they're really into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually did a little bit of math. I looked it up. If Vicky moves to Canada and lives there for like 2 years and becomes a citizen, she can get 3 grants that equal $80,000 in order to make a game.
Huh.
Yeah. So you can apply. You have to apply for them just like you apply for any grants. But you get a grant for being a woman. You get it for like a woman owning a business. You get a grant for making a game, and there was a third grant I don't remember. But you can get all these grants to make a game. You can go if you're a Canadian citizen. You have like proof that you can make a game. You can be like, I want to make a game. And they'll be like, all right, here's 10 grand. So
I mean, yeah.
I mean, there's loopholes in the American government to do things like that, but in Canada, it looks like it's way easier.
Yeah.
And they do give these companies tax breaks.
I will say this. I mean, since Vivendi is just buying up shares and being the majority shareholder, if things do go, if like they do wind up getting what they want, and things eventually go south, like Ubisoft doesn't meet certain earnings and stuff, Ubisoft isn't necessarily going to go out of business. Then they're just going to sell the assets to somebody else.
True.
So there will still be a Ubisoft. Just what it is down the road, we don't know.
They seem to have been pretty good to Activision.
Right. Still,
aside from Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, nobody really wants to answer to somebody when you've been successful on your own.
Right, that's true. Yeah, and that's the thing. It is a hostile takeover. They want to keep running the company.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's not like Vivendi's going to be like, you can only do these games.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to let them control the company. It's just that they could break up the company to sell shares to make more money.
That's true. They could sell Ubisoft Montreal, Ubisoft Reflections, Ubisoft Shanghai. They can all be like separate things now.
And that would very much affect the games because I mean, these games, they're developed and published by Ubisoft, but there's a bunch of different sections of Ubisoft.
Yeah.
So like Ubisoft Montreal, and like you said, so that's bad.
Yeah.
Queue up your questions and comments, guys, because we're getting out of here.
Yep.
If you have something else to say.
I don't.
Next week, I want to do E3 predictions.
Okay.
So if you're watching this after, leave a comment with your E3 predictions, or go to Twitter, use the hashtag WolfDenLive.
Yes.
And give us your E3 predictions, just like this person did. Why'd you refresh? We need a better setup for this garbage.
You're talking about Jonathan Garcia, who asked me on Twitter, but I think he was talking about you. If you go to E3, can you record the ceiling? No one ever records the ceiling.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll record the ceiling. It's probably just going to be like, I could... It's not going to be very exciting.
Yeah.
Did we talk to Gavin last time? Did we answer his question?
I answered...
How long would it take me to read Watchmen?
Yes, I answered that, and then I tweeted at him the second question, what way would you recommend watching the X-Men movies? In release order, don't even try to watch them in chronological order. It will just hurt your brain.
Right. And that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yes, that's it. I got too many devices in my hands.
Yeah. All right. I saw a lot of people talking about DC Rebirth in the chat. I have not read any of the titles that came out today. They released Batman, Superman, Green Arrow, and Green Lantern's Rebirth. But everything I heard is that all 4 of them are very good. So, yeah. I will hopefully have something to say about those soon. But until then, listen to everybody on the internet. Everybody's saying they're good.
Fanatics 4 says Canada gives huge tax breaks and incentives to video game companies. Ubisoft likely brings a lot of jobs to Canada. They do, and that's why the president went there to hang out.
Yep.
Montreal is like huge for video games.
Yeah.
And the rent is really cheap there. I looked it up.
But the taxes are expensive because they have universal health care.
I mean,
I know you give a little, you get a little.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, our taxes would go. Let's get a little political here. Our taxes would go up because of universal health care,
Right?
Not necessarily theirs because they've had it for so long.
Yeah.
You know. So like, it's we don't know.
Yeah.
People are talking about hockey.
If you're not talking about the Islanders, then stop talking
Definitely
about
not
hockey.
because they're not even involved. In anything right now.
Cleveland Cavaliers are the 2016 champions. It looks like.
So did they win? Did they just win?
I
while
guess.
we're doing this?
I guess so.
Congratulations. Caloric says Nintendo hype. I guess because of E3, because everybody's freaking out because we said the words E3.
Apparently, Nintendo got a really large booth space for E3. Like unnecessarily large.
More than usual because they always have this.
Since they're only doing one game this year.
Unnecessarily large for having one game because, like, the last 2 years that I was there, the booth was the same size. Last year they didn't have, and they usually don't have much, to be honest.
Yeah, Nintendo has booked a lot of floor space for E3 2016.
I saw the map and it looked like Sony had a lot, but it looked the same. It looked all. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
That map, it looks the same as it did last year.
All right.
Yeah, that's exactly the same. Because like, I know you guys can't see this, but this was all the regular garbage, and then that was all what's it called? Mario Maker.
Well, I mean,
corner.
they're only really showing one game. Why do they need that much floor space?
They're
going to
have older games too.
You think so?
Definitely. They're not just gonna have all Zelda. Also, they're gonna have a lot of Zelda though because they're telling media to hold aside 90 minutes.
Yeah.
To play it. So that line's gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't expect to play too much Zelda.
If at all.
If at all. I want to save a lot of E3 talk for next week, but this is one of the smallest E3s in terms of companies who are attending.
Yes.
I think in 2004, there was 600 companies.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's 200, which is pretty small. I mean, but it's going to have the most people at this one.
Yeah.
They also have an outside fan event called E3 Live to the public, open to the public. Dario says, Bandicoot was so good, then it sucked. Rob Collins says, will E3 be live streamed by anyone? Yes, it'll be, I mean, you'll have all the press conferences live streamed. There will be a calendar. Go to IGN for their calendar.
Yeah.
Most of the press conferences, the important ones are on Monday, before the show even starts. And then throughout the week, the random publishers will have conferences.
Yeah.
IGN will probably have their own live stream. I believe Kind of Funny will be hosting their own live streams on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
They might be partnering with GameSpot again to do that. So there'd be plenty of live streams going on. Atten asks Fanatics if he's going to E3. I will be going to E3.
I will not.
He'll be here holding out the fort.
Yep.
I don't know what we're going to do for a podcast that week. You might have to get somebody.
I'll get somebody.
Might
Might go solo. What?
Everybody's excited for E3.
Yeah.
I have to say that like there's not really that much happening. Super type Bob, did you see the documentary about Ed, Edd and Eddy? I saw you gave it to me and I put it on my watch later. It's a half an hour though, so it's gonna take a while. Is it a half an hour? No, Powerpuff Girls one that I found is half an hour.
Did you hear the theory that Ed, Ed, and Eddie is set in purgatory? Because all the kids represent
Oh,
a
yes.
child from a different decade who have passed on and now live in this purgatory, basically, and that the cankers are demons.
I saw somebody posted a pitch for the Animaniacs, like the writer pitching it to like two executives.
Yeah.
It's a joke, but it's very funny. You should read it. It's a little bit of satire.
Nice.
It's good. They keep asking like, so they're animals, and he's like, yeah, but they're not dogs. No,
Originally, they were supposed to be ducks.
really?
Yeah.
They just took the bills off them.
Yeah. Because they look too much like Plucky from Tiny Toons.
Ah, okay, interesting. Okay. Bob, I know you and Vicky are going. I need both of your insights. Okay, you got it. Infinite Warfare hype, JK. Dario says.
Release Modern Warfare Remastered Solo, and then we'll talk.
All right. Last question. Cthulhu Chow. I was thinking of upgrading my gaming system. What have you heard about this Game Boy Color? I thought that was serious for a second. I will say, though, that I just heard something about an interesting theory about the PlayStation 4.5, and I forgot what it was.
Does it have to do with portability, since we're talking about
It has
Game
to
Boy?
do with, if I upgrade, I can't bring over PT.
I did hear that.
That is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Not like I'm ever going to play it again, but I want that.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Because if I upgrade, you're going to get my old system, and I don't want you having PT without me having PT.
Hold on a second. PT was downloaded under my account.
I don't care. I want
I downloaded it. It's my game.
Who paid for the PlayStation? This guy. Because you didn't want it on day one. And I was
didn't
I
want
need to have this
didn't
on day
want it
one.
on day one.
All right. We're out of here.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting and all that nonsense.
Again, if you want to talk to us, there's 4 ways of doing so. One is being here live and commenting in the chat.
Yes.
Talking to everybody in the chat, talking
Yes.
to us. There was a good 40 people, 38 to 40 people watching at any given time. That's pretty damn
Nice.
good. Keep sharing this with your friends. Get them in here and be like,
Yes.
yo, look at these 2 idiots.
If they prefer audio version, tell them that we're on iTunes, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Google Play. Subscribe to those. Rate and leave comments on those services. That will help us out a lot.
If you're over there and you want to talk to us, either go to YouTube and leave a comment on this video, and we'll read it next week. We looked over the comments before and didn't see any real questions, so that's why we didn't go there.
Yeah.
Tweet at us using the hashtag WolfDenLive. You better spell it right, or else we're not going to read it.
WULFF.
I wasn't going to give them the pleasure,
I
because you know what? You can just look with your eyeballs. Whatever you're listening to this on has our name spelled right.
Some people need to have it spelled out.
I
You
know.
gotta spell
People
it
spell it
out
wrong.
for them.
People spell it wrong in our comment section. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And what was the other way? Oh yeah, donations. But
Yes.
don't feel obligated to do that because we pretty much read everybody's stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. After this, I'm gonna draw the thumbnail on my Twitch, but it'll probably be short because I need to sleep.
Yep.
Goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Love you. Love you. Kisses.